Okay. So TestNG framework. We have seen JUnit framework. Now we are going to see TestNG framework. What is TestNG? TestNG is a next generation testing framework, which is designed to simplify your code for writing different kinds of test cases like unit test cases, integration test cases, system test cases, end-to-end test cases, all kinds of test cases you can write with the TestNG framework. You can use a TestNG framework. And here in this TestNG framework, so it has a lot of improvements. The inspiration for creating this TestNG framework is a JUnit only. Based on the JUnit only, this TestNG created. I accept for that. First base is JUnit. Based on the JUnit, they created this TestNG. Who created this TestNG is Best Cedric. He is the one who created this framework. But this framework will give you, see that, you can store the data in the Excel files and you can read that data. Okay, you can read that data. And you can create multiple test scripts, okay, in one side. So all these test cases, when you run as a TestNG suite, and it will generate the reports and it will generate the logs also. So that's the beauty of this TestNG framework. So this kind of features you don't have in JUnit also. So not clear report, but this one will give you nice reports and generate the logs also. A lot of extra features it has than JUnit. So what are the extra features? Let's see the advantage. So if anybody asks you why TestNG is preferred than JUnit, so you can give all these answers. These points, if you give, that's good enough. Why? So in JUnit and TestNG, which one is better? Which one you will prefer? If they ask you, give these advantages. That's the answer for that question. So TestNG provides rich annotation support. What is meant by rich annotation support? So it has a lot of annotations. Now in the JUnit, we have only before each test method, after each, after all, right? Only these are the annotations, right? But in the TestNG, you have from suit tag to till method level. You have all so many annotations. Before suit, after suit. Before test, after test. Before class, after class. Before method, after method. At the rate test method. At the rate data provider annotation. At the rate parameters annotation. Like this, you have so many annotations. That's the rich annotation support. Means many annotations it supports. That's the first point. And also second point, it generates better HTML and XSLT reports. It will generate the reports nicely. You will get the nice reports. And third one, we can prioritize the test cases. We can prioritize the test cases using priority keyword. You will write like this. So in the JUnit, you don't have this feature, right? In JUnit, you don't have this feature. They're running in the alphabetical order of your method name. If you go here, so which order they are running here? If you see multiple test methods, which order they are running? So did you observe that? This is the test simple alert, test confirmation alert, test prompt. So can you tell me which order it will execute? Alphabetical order. That means first this will run. Then this will run. And last, this will run. There is no prioritization here. That prioritization is missing here in the JUnit. But in the TestNG, you have at the rate test, priority keyword use and give smallest number. And the smallest number will schedule first. In your class, multiple test methods are there, but you don't know which order you want to run. There is no option in JUnit, but in TestNG, you have this option. You can organize. That's how to prioritize the test cases using priority keyword. Then You can skip the test cases using @test enabled equal to false. This one you have in the JUnit also. I told you, right? @test above you are writing @disabled. In the TestNG, you have this here. You have to write like this, enabled equal to false. That's how to skip the test cases in the TestNG and JUnit. We can set the dependency among test methods. @test depends on methods equal to test1. So depends on methods equal to test1. That means current method depends on this test1 method. So you can set the dependency. So this option you don't have in the JUnit. Give this all these differences, JUnit and TestNG. And what annotations JUnit have, what annotations TestNG have, you give that first point. And better reports you have, there you don't have that much better reports. You can prioritize the test case in TestNG using priority keyword, but you don't have option in JUnit. So you can skip the test case in JUnit using @disabled, but you can skip the test case in TestNG using @test bracket enabled equal to false. That you're going to write. So we can set a dependency among test methods. @test depends on methods equal to test1. This feature you don't have in JUnit. So we can group the test cases in TestNG using @test groups equal to curly bracket. Inside you write the group name, smoke, sanity, regression. These are the group names, different group names. You can give your own name also. That means basically test methods you're categorizing. So what category? So tomorrow your manager will ask, run only smoke, run only regression. Then how you can run? First you should categorize them, right? While writing the test case itself, you categorize them. To categorize the test cases, you're using groups concept. In JUnit also you have a tags concept. So tags is there. You can use a tags to categorization. Here in the TestNG, you're using a groups keyword, but in the JUnit, you can use a tags keyword. Both you have a grouping in JUnit and TestNG. So we can run the test cases parallelly on multiple browsers. So this is the great feature we have in TestNG. You don't have in JUnit. So we can do a data-driven testing using @DataProvider annotation. This feature you don't have in the JUnit. This annotation itself not there in the JUnit. So we can supply parameter values from XML file using @parameters annotation, but this feature you don't have in JUnit. So I'm covering both the differences of JUnit and TestNG and also advantage of TestNG. Are we good, sir?
Yes.
So give that differences so that it will be clear if anybody asks you that question. What is the difference between JUnit and TestNG? Why you will prefer TestNG? So what is the advantages? Basically, that's all right. You can always need to compare when they are asking questions.
What is the smoke, sanity, and regression testing?
Keywords, sir. Keywords in the functional testing, you will categorize your test cases. So in the manual testing, you will categorize, right? So that manual testing, you should have some knowledge. Watch our videos, okay? So I explained in the manual testing this
smoke and everything. Like
yeah, you would have joined those classes. So that would have helped you. So all this we covered there. What is smoke testing? What is regression testing? We covered there.
Okay, I'll check, sir. Can you ping the video if you don't mind? Or
it's there, sir. You go here and you can see. See, you can find everything you can find here in the playlist. Go to playlist. So you can find here, see manual testing 2023. Okay. Go to this play. Or if you don't find here, you can go to previous playlist. You have all manual testing.
Okay.
So you have that manual testing here. Okay. You can find all of this, even manual testing 2022 also there. Here also you can find. So whichever, until you find certain videos may not be there, certain videos might be there, but you have to search in this playlist. Very limited, right? You can find out easily, not a big deal. Okay. So then let's go and install Eclipse in your Eclipse. So I have already, but can you share your screen and so that I'll help you out. So quickly we can finish it out.
Yeah, sure.
Share your screen so that we can finish the installation.
Sure. Is my screen visible?
Yeah, it's visible. Go to help menu.
Just let me.
Help menu. Menu bar is there, right? Yeah, help. Marketplace, Eclipse Marketplace. Yeah.
Okay. Can you see?
Search here, TestNG. And there is a search, right? Search TestNG. NG. Go, click and go. So you'll get the first one, install. Click on install. So next, confirm.
Okay.
Accept license agreement. Finish it. So you will get a one small pop-up. Trust all the softwares, then trust it. Select all, trust selected. That's it. Restart. Now you're good to go. That's it. Simple thing. Okay. Now let's go and do some more annotations. We'll understand the annotation. All the annotations, let's understand. So what are the different annotations we have? So very nice documentation also there, sir. Apart from our blog, you can use their documentation. TestNG documentation. If you go to TestNG documentation, you can see their documentation. See, it's no need to go any other websites also. Their website only you go. Click on this. See, nice documentation, you will get it here. So click on annotations. You can see all the annotations. At the rate before suit, at the rate after suit. These two are pair up. This is a suit level, these two. Before test, after test, before groups, after groups, before class, after class, before method, after method. These are the annotations which are very, very important for us. So we already learned the before class, after class, and before method and after method, right? In the unit. So yes. Before all is nothing but a before class here. After all is nothing but after class here in the TestNG. So in the unit you have before each, right? That before each is here they renamed as a before method. Functionality is same. So this also repeats every test method before and then after method. So after each in unit is equal to after method in the TestNG. Okay. So after that you have a @DataProvider annotation, @factory annotation, @listeners. And you have @test. See, @test has a lot of keywords. So I told you, right? Always run data provider class. Depends on groups, depends on method. Just now I explained, right? Description, enabled, expected exceptions, groups, invocation count, invocation timeout, priority, single threaded, timeout, thread pool size. All these parameters you can use along with the @test annotation. And you need to understand suit files are. What is a suit file means? A collection of test cases will be there. Collection of your classes. Okay. Collection of classes. So now, so what will happen here is, so this is the suit file. Suit file is nothing but an XML file, sir. So XML and HTML, you know, right? They have a tags. XML has its own custom tags. HTML is a predefined tags. So here, first one is a document declaration, then suit tag, name equal to suit name, verbose equal to 1. So then see suit tag after immediately test tag, name equal to test name. Then test tag after classes tag. Classes tag inside you have a class tag, class name equal to no package test, and classes tag, then test tag. So this is the one test tag. So one suit inside you can write multiple test tags. Again, test tag, name equal to regression 1, classes tag. See, this classes tag inside I'm adding 2 more classes. So you can add one, each class is represented by class tag. Class tag, name attribute. So this is the name attribute. Close the classes tag. Close the classes tag. See, open tag, close tag. And this is the test tag is closing. This test tag is started here, ending here. This test tag started here, ending here. Classes tag, this one. Every test tag has a classes tag. Class tag inside you can include your TestNG classes. We are going to write TestNG classes that you are going to include here. So this is the suit file we call this, sir. You can write instead of writing a classes, you can write a packages also. So for example, a package, entire package you want to run. Instead of writing all classes, you can write simply this one, suit tag. So name attribute, suit test tag, name attribute and value. Packages, package tag, name equal to test.sample. So then close the packages, test tag, suit tag. So this is the how you can write a simple entire package if you want to run. So this is the suit file concept, sir. Suit file is a very simple, right? Suit tag and suit tag inside test tag. Then generally we are writing classes tags, class tag inside single class. So that is the suit file concept. Okay. So before understanding this annotations, I want to explain that suit file. Now, what is before suit? So this suit, entire this suit, right? This is the suit, one suit file. This suit execution before, first this annotated block will execute. Any code you write, that code will execute. So first before your suit execution. So this annotated method will be run before all the tests in the suit have run. So before suit, public void before suit, and write the code. Basically, application deployments and also some preconditional steps before your test case running, entire suit running, before you want some code, that code you can put it here in the before suit. Are we good, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. So that is the one thing. And after suit is the annotated method will be run after all the suits inside the test methods are there, right? All the classes, all classes over. Finally, so what you want to do is you want to do some log collection and browser closing, such kind of things. If you want to do, you can put in the after suit. So that's a before suit and after suit. Before suit is a setup method. After setup is a destroy concept, basically tear down activities. So after all your test case execution, what you want to do, that you place in the after suit annotation. That will be done in the after suit. Clear? Now, before test. If you want to understand before test, you need to understand this this concept, sir. This concept. Multiple test tags concept you need to understand. Every test tag inside classes execution before this test tag level annotation, this one. This is the tag level annotation. Before test means a tag level annotation. This annotated method will run before any test method belonging to the classes inside the test tag. So that means this classes test method execution before first before test block code will execute. Once the before test is executed, then cursor will go to this class. And all the class inside you have multiple test methods. Those will execute one by one. That is the how you can execute this before test. Once before test is done, then it will go to after test. After test. Okay, so this test, all the classes are done. So then it will go to after test. So this annotated method will be run after all the test methods belonging to the classes inside the test tag have run. This test tag inside all the classes are completed. Then after test code will execute. If there is a one more test tag right here, then what will happen? Again, before this test tag execution first before test will execute. Before test, then parameter sample class, and then parameter test class next. And after that, again, after test will execute. That means this is a before test to after test tag level. Don't confuse with the before method or after method. Okay, before method is a test method level, but before test is a test tag level. Tag level. Are you clear, sir, on these two? Okay. Many will confuse on this before test to before method. That's another important interview question also. Before test is test tag level. Okay. And before method is a method level. Method level, sir. You can execute a method level, that one. And next, before groups. So now I told you already, you categorize your test cases as a groups. Now any method, if you want to execute, any test method you want to execute, before groups has to execute, then your test method has to execute. Then you put a before groups. So what group you want to execute before? So this list of groups that this configuration method will run before. All the groups before, this before groups code will execute here. This method is guaranteed to run shortly before the first test method that belongs to any of the groups is invoked. First before groups will execute, then the groups related test cases will execute. Okay. Then after groups means after completing all the test methods in the groups, then finally after groups will execute after completing all the groups after. So you just observe before or after. Before means a setup, some configurations, then your test methods, then after method will come into picture. Basically, you are organizing your code how you want to run. That's it. Then before class, this annotated method will be run before the first test method in the current class is invoked. Current class, this is the class level annotation. Current class, any test method execution before, and we are going to use this before class annotation. So public void before class and write the precondition code for your test case. And in the after class, okay, the class is over. All the test methods are over. Then after class will execute. We have seen just now, right? Before all, after all, same functionality. One time only, both will execute one time only. This is the first will execute in the class. And that class related all test methods are over. Then it will go to after class. Are you catching, sir, all these points?
Yes, there are a lot of the digest. That's what I try to observe. You know what I mean? Once we implement this, I think it's gonna be clear.
Okay. So at the rate before method and at the rate after method. So the annotated method this before method annotated method will be run before each test method. So as I mentioned, each test method before this before method code will execute. That means there is a no duplicate code. You can place it here, common code for all the test methods, and that common code will execute first before any test method. And first this common code will execute, go to test method. Test method after, okay, then it will go to after method. The annotated method will be run after each test method. So public void tear down, so destroy code. You basically destroy code you will write. The test method after what code you want to run. Okay. Okay. Any questions here?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, sir, last one, data provider annotation. What is the purpose of data provider annotation? So data provider annotation mainly used to do a data-driven testing. Data-driven testing means to store the data, okay, in the data provider annotated method. You store your data. That data you can supply to a test method. Generally, we need to pass always data to a test method, because test method inside only we are going to use all the data injection, right? So you write the steps inside, you will inject the data. So you will write the data. So that data you need to store somewhere, and you have to repeat that. The data one by one it has to take. How it can take a data one by one? Using data provider annotation. You store the data first in the data provider annotation, which this is going to return an object to two-dimensional array. The return type of this method is object two-dimensional array.
This data provider could be a database, any database, Ramesh?
Not database. It's a not database. Basically, you can store the data. So, but for example, sir, in the application, you have a data, right? You need to enter some data. Site. It's not bookmark. I have to bookmark. Yeah. So this is all data, right? You have to give this, you need to give input this data, right? All right.
Yes. Input. Yes. Input.
This input, how you can supply? You need to store somewhere, right? In the
Yes.
Excel sheet or somewhere. But this is for creating an account. But if
Yes.
you want to create a multiple accounts, how can you do that? Same scenario you want to run. That is called data driven.
Okay.
Running the same scenario with a different sets of data. Got it?
Okay.
So how can you handle that? That you can store here in the data provider annotation. Different sets of data you can give for each field. Each field you can give different values. So these are all parameters, right? All these parameter values you can pass. And different accounts, if you want to create, give more rows. So how many accounts you want to create, that many rows you have to give data for all these fields, all these mandatory fields. You have to provide data. And columns is number of parameters in your test method. So I'll show you that. Let's go first understand what is this data provider. Data provider basically used to do a data driven testing. First, you need to understand what is meant by data driven testing. Then it's easy to okay.
Yes.
Now, this data provider annotated method is like this. At the data provider, you can give a name for this data provider, public object to dimensional array, the method name, write the method name, curly bracket. So object to dimensional array, so data equal to new object, rows, columns. Rows means how many times you want to repeat this data, how many sets of data you are giving, how many times your test method has to be executed. That's a rows count. Columns count is the parameter list, the parameter in the test method. So number of parameters in the test method. So now if you take this scenario, so first name is one parameter, last name, email, telephone, address one, city, postal code, country, region. These are all the password. These are all the parameter list. See how many parameters are there. That list count is your columns count. So all those parameters you will take in the test method. Okay. So you'll write at the test method, right? So those parameter list is you have to write here for that particular scenario. So then I'm replacing now object to dimensional array. So data equal to new object, 3 rows and 2 columns. That means I'm setting here 3 sets of data and with the 2 columns. So basically I'm taking for login scenario. Login scenario I'm taking. So login scenario. What is a login scenario? Username and password, right? 2 parameters.
Yes.
So data. So this 0 means first row, first column. That's a username. First row, second column, password. So 2 columns are over, right? Now what will happen? 2 columns are over, it will go to next row. Next row. So data, second row, first column, username 2. Data, second row, second column, password 2. So same with third row. Third row, first column. Third row, second column. So then return all this array object. Then supply that to a test method. So all this data, you give it to a test method. How you can map this data provider and this test? So you need to tell, right, from where this username password has to go and pick. For that, I'm writing at the rate test data provider. This is the keyword, very important. This is the one mapping between data provider and this test method. There are so many test methods, so many data providers. Which data provider name you have to use for this test method? Which data you want to give for this test method, you have to tell. How you can tell? This is the one. @test data provider. This is the keyword. Exactly how to write same way, sir. Data provider equal to. This is the one. Data provider name or data provider method name. So this name, either this name or this method name, you pass it. Public void login test, string, uname, string, password. Then show system.out.println username and password. Okay, so this is how we can supply the data for a particular test method using data provider annotation. So are you clear, sir? This is very important.
Parameters represent columns, correct? Number of
yeah, this column count, this number of parameters is this column count.
Okay.
This in the test method, how many parameters are here? Now 2. That 2 I am giving in this column count.
Okay.
And this 3 is, okay, how many
Number
sets
of
of data?
Yeah.
How many sets of data? This is the one set, this is the second set, this is the third set. So that sets of data you can use here. Clear?
Okay. A lot of to digest. So.
Yeah, a lot of things. That's why you have to digest. That's what. So go through that one by one. Okay, plan it. Okay, every day the topics what we have finished today and tomorrow. You just go through that. So this I'll stop after this. Okay, that also going to be very difficult for you to catch all the things. Okay. So then tomorrow we'll cover the rest of the things, okay, whatever we have. Okay, first let me explain what is parameters annotation. So as I mentioned, parameters annotation is used to supply the data from XML file. You can store in the XML file. From there, you can read it to your test methods. That's how to pass the parameter values to your test method or any other annotation method, not only test, any other annotation method. So if you want to do that, first you have to declare @parameters annotation in your TestNG class above any annotation, either before to before test to before class, before method, test method above. You can write this @parameters and declare your parameter name. Then in the method parenthesis, write that same parameter here. This parameter value you have to include in the XML file using parameter tag. This parameter tag is going to have name attribute and value attribute. Here you can see. So we have declared here 2 parameters, right? Parameter 1, see that. This is how you will write @test and @parameters. So you are giving parameter 1, parameter 2. Same should be in the method parenthesis also here. So this one here and this one here. And these values I'm going to supply from XML file. You have to create an XML file. How to create XML file? Select the class and right click on that. A TestNG option you will get, convert to TestNG. You show that. This is how. Let me show that. So right click, TestNG, convert to TestNG. So you will get a suite file here and give your suite name, test name, and a TestNG.xml suite file. Then finish it. And there you have to add this parameter tag. For each parameter, one parameter tag. Parameter tag inside you have a name attribute and value attribute. That means for this parameter, this is the value. For this parameter, this is the value. Okay. These data required for this class 1 and class 2. So then whenever you are these parameters you are using in these classes, these values will go and replace them. That's how to supply data from XML file to your test methods or any other annotated methods. Is it clear, sir?
Okay.
Not clear?
Not yet, but I'll go through it.
I'll show you in the code, okay? Coding I'll show you, don't worry. Tomorrow we'll cover that. Then you will get it. Okay, you will get a better